everyone. I'm really excited about this class because it's such a different class than what I usually teach, where the work is really hard. This is more about self-care and using the foam roller to rock, roll, and stretch our muscles today. Make sure you have a lot of room around your space. You can use a mat, you can use a carpeted floor, and any type of foam roller will do. Hold it in your hands, feet apart, and take the foam roller up and down. Go ahead and move at your own pace. Don't feel like you have to keep up with the music or with me. Just feel the edges. Start to take those stretches off to more of a diagonal as you alternate sides. Now my foam roller is about 18 inches. If yours is a little longer, it'll work just fine. You may have to modify some of the holds. Take that one more time. As you bring it to center, swing under, so it feels like you're looking underneath the top arm, more into a side stretch. And again, go at your own pace. The foam roller is used mostly for what's called myofascial release. Fascia is on the tissue on the outside of the muscle. Come back to center, hold, bring it in, sit deep into a chair, reach up, look back, hold. Feel that stretch in the upper back, come back to center, side tilt circles, and when you get to the top, reverse. So our muscles have tissue on the outside called fascia. Oftentimes they get dehydrated or sticky and adhere to the bone, and when we massage them or roll them, it gives more hydration. So that's the goal with the foam rolling. Take it one more time and come back to the middle. Hold here. Take it behind your back. If your foam roller is longer, you may need to modify this. Open up your chest and your heart. And come back to the middle as you bring your foam roller down on your thighs. Forearms to the foam roller and give it some pressure. I'm going to turn sideways on this different angle so you can see a little better. I'm going to roll up and down your thighs. So this is where you're massaging the fascia of the quadriceps and the forearms. And other times we'll be using the foam roller to increase our stretching. Hold here. Now round into cat-cow stretch. I love to move while stretching a little more than just holding still because I like to feel the places on my body that need a little more attention. And that's what today is about. Find those places that need a little more attention. Come back through the middle and hold. Place one hand on each side of the foam roller and lift it up to the top of your head. Sit deeper into the hips, feel the arms pulling back, and then just stand up and elongate. Take that again. Remember to breathe into these stretches. Sink deeper, discover something about it, lift back up. Bring the foam roller into the chest, sit deep, and then push into one rotation onto one side, pushing the bottom arm up into the foam roller and lifting the elbow on the top arm, turn your head. Come back to the chest, shift over to the other side. Come back to the chest. Step back with one leg. Take the foam roller high and push the pelvis forward into a crescent lunge. Be careful not to release the head back, but just keep it between the arms. Come back into the middle and take it to the other side. Some of these moves are going to feel so good, you're going to want to stay in them a long time or repeat them, which we don't have a lot of time for today. I have a lot of variety planned. So enjoy what you have and then revisit them again at another time if something felt really good to you. Come back into center. Take the foam roller down and you have the option of keeping it long or short, depending on what you're ready for, and place your hands on top. So if you have it long, you're in a forward fold, very supported. If it's lower, it's a little deeper. Keep your knees a little soft and release the head, shaking the tension out. From your forward fold, come up halfway, often referred to as monkey. If your foam roller is low, take your fingertips to the top of it. If it's high, you can put your palm on, whatever you need to do. Reverse and go back to that forward fold. Relax your head. And then come up halfway to that monkey position. Now, whether that foam roller is horizontal or vertical, keep one hand on it. Let's take our right hand on it. Bend your right knee. And then take the left hand up even higher as you rotate. You'll lengthen your left leg with the left arm up. Turn your head to the left hand. Keep your right knee bent and your right hand on the foam roller. This can also be done with a higher position. Switch sides. Come back to the middle. Keep your knees bent as you pick up the foam roller, roll all the way up. Place the foam roller behind the back of your head and open your elbows and open your chest. Feel the pressure of the head next to the foam roller. Drop the right elbow and lift the left elbow high. Let the torso circle. And then drop the left elbow with the right elbow high. So often in my workouts, I focus on working the muscles. Today, let's focus on giving them a rest and really paying attention to them. Elevate up higher. Hold here and just really opening the chest. Reach up and take the foam roller off to the side. Depending on how high your foam roller is and how tall you are, you may need to adjust by fingertips or soft knees. Take the other arm over the top and pull the hip in the opposite direction as the foam roller. In different angles, reach to a forward diagonal. Now center and open up to the ceiling, turning open. Come back to center. Lift all the way up and over and change to the other side as you release. Fingertips on, knees bent, reach all the way up over the top. Forward diagonal. Come back to center. Open the chest, look up. And come back to center as you release. Bring the foam roller in front of you with a little bit of space between you and the foam roller. Find your balance as you lift your right knee up. Gently place the right heel on the foam roller, adjusting your space. Hands behind back. Bend a little into the left knee and bring your chest forward to your front thigh. Once you feel stable, extend the front heel a little more forward and lengthen through the hamstring. Keep the chest elevated, chin lifted, and open the arms out to the side. Reach forward. You'll find this stretch class will use some of your core muscles, especially in balance work and some body resistance work. Now with the opposite hand across your thigh, right hand behind your back, you can slide it down your leg and even reach for your toe. All of our bodies are put together so differently. We all have different issues that we need to deal with. Lift up and change sides. Some of us will be tight in our hips. Some of us will be tight in our hamstrings and low back. Soften, lean forward. Some of us will be super tight in our lats or our shoulders. So work within your own body today and respect it. If you've got the length in your leg, push your heel a little more forward. Open the arms. If something doesn't feel good, find something that does. With the opposite hand, reach across your leg. With that left hand behind your back, slide it down the side of the leg. You can even reach for your toe. You might find your left side is a little tighter than your right, so maybe you just stay on your leg. Today is about respect, attention, and maybe intention of the move you're doing. Release and lift your heel off. Take the foam roller, lie it flat, and just simply roll the fascia of the foot. Give it some body weight, so lean into it. You may deal with something that's called plantar fasciitis, that same word, fascia, that tissue under the foot. Switch sides. some weight, lean into it, and roll the foot. And then come down into a kneeling position. I'm going to turn sideways for this one just so you can see. Place the foam roller underneath your right hand in a vertical tall position. Left leg steps forward towards the foam roller. The back knee is bent and you push your pelvis forward. And you can readjust this. You're using the foam roller just to help support the stretch. That's a hip flexor stretch on that back leg. And it's a glute hamstring stretch under the front leg. Now tuck your toes. And if it feels good to lift the knee and push back through the heel, you'll be in a really deep lunge. Use that foam roller to support it. Place your hand on your thigh, your left hand, and push into your left hip. If you have the balance, take your left hand a little higher and reach up. If you have the hand up, draw circles with the arm. Take a few circles all the way up and around. Hold and drop the back knee down, support with the hand. Take your foam roller and put it down into the low position. Take your left leg a little wider, walk it out. Now you can use your hands or even your elbows. Everybody's hip sockets are a little different, hip flexors. Lean a little more forward into more of an adductor, hip flexor, groin stretch. So again, you might be able to go all the way to elbows. You might have to stay on hands. And today may be a different day than another day. Listen to the body today and give it what it needs. Step back to switch sides. Take it into a higher position. Right leg steps forward, left hand on the foam roller, pelvis pushes through, left hip flexor gets a great stretch here. Option to tuck your back foot, lift the knee and push back through your back heel into a deep lunge. With your right hand on your front thigh, turn and rotate into the right hip. Option to lift your hand. If the hand is up, draw some circles with the arm. Hold and bring the knee back down. Hand down, re-support. Foam roller lower. Right leg wider. Both hands on the foam roller. Push a little deeper. If it feels good, go down onto your elbows. And again, you might find that different legs feel different. You might be able to go to elbows on one side but not the other. Pay attention to it, notice it, but don't worry so much about it. Come back up and reposition. I'm going to face forward for you on this one. Foam roller is flat, low. Right leg goes out to the side. Start to roll the foam roll a little more forward with your elbows on it or forearms and drop the head. The leg that's extended works or stretches the adductors, the inner thighs. And then play with this. Pull back through the hips, drop the head. Lift up. Do whatever feels good. I like to go low and deep. And as you come up, switch to the other leg. So as the leg is extended, you're going to get the adductor inner thigh. As you lower down, you'll release the back. Play with it. If it feels good, pull the hips way back, drop the head. And come back through the center. Extend your right leg out to the side again. This time place the foam roller to the side of you. It can be high or it can be low. You decide as you place your hand on it. I'm going to take mine low. Reach the right arm over the top of your head in a beautiful side stretch. Now if the foam roller is up high and it's too high, push it out a little. You can aim it on a diagonal. Change it to however you feel you need it. Come up off the foam roller, place your hand on the right leg, right hand, and then the left arm goes opposite of the foam roller side. Come back to the foam roller side with the arm over your head. Take your leg, free leg, right leg up off the floor and give it a nice big reach. Now there's some core strength for you. Bend your knee, grab hold of the ankle or the foot, and then activate it by pushing into the foot, lengthening your arm, shoulder, bicep, quadricep, and then turn your head towards the foam roller to stretch the neck. Soften as you come back in and switch to the other side. Remember, your foam roller can be up high or down low. Reach over into your side bend, your side stretch. Push off the foam roller and go to the other side. Come back to the foam roller side. In your side stretch, lift your leg, left leg off the floor and lengthen through the leg. Bend your knee, take hold of your foot, push actively your foot into your hand, opening up chest, shoulder, lengthening bicep. Turn towards your head towards your foam roller. Stretch the neck. Feel the length in your quadriceps stretch there also. And release. Bring your knees together and take the foam roller in front of you as you roll it forward in a child's pose. Pull the hips back, head drops between the arms. Roll it backwards and forwards. If something feels good, hold it. Lift up a little. Take the foam roller into a tall position with the opposite arm across the chest. Pull your hip back in the opposite direction of the foam roller and push the foam roller to an angle, getting a nice stretch down the side of the arm. Come back up and change sides. So the foam roller goes across the chest with the arm. Hips pull the opposite direction, drop the head next to the arm, and feel that foam roller push forward as you pull back with the opposite hip. Come back to the middle. Bring the foam roller underneath your right shin bone. Take your hands to the ground and extend your left leg back behind you. From here, roll the foam roller backwards and forwards against the shin muscle. So that's the fascia, that's the myofascial release. Putting some hydration to the tissue. Hold still, switch sides. Push forward and back with that foot, even a stretch through the back leg also. Now place both shins on top. So you're almost in a child's pose position here. Drop down more to your elbows and roll knees forward and back. So there's some core abdominal work. Now even longer, roll the foam roller underneath your quadriceps, so the thighs. Then roll back underneath your shins. Roll back onto your thighs, so there's the foam rolling the thighs. And then roll forward up into the shins. Take that one more time back. And hold. Reposition the foam roller underneath one thigh. Bend the other knee and rest it against the floor, and then roll the foam roller up and down the thigh. Now this could be tight. The thighs can get a lot of tension. As you're rolling up and down the thigh, turn your foot inward. You may find some tight spots there. I found one. And then roll the foot maybe outward in a different position. Stop on a tight spot and just bend your knee. And then straighten it and find a different spot and bend your knee. And then find a different spot and bend your knee. And release. Switch legs. So the free leg is on the floor, knee bent, supported. On your elbows, roll the foam roller underneath your thigh. And then just roll it up and down the quadricep. Change the angle of your foot. Roll the foot inward. Ooh, tight spot. Roll the foot outward. And then find a spot that feels tight or sticky and bend the knee. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Again, it would be nice to take a lot of time with these, but I want to show you so many stretches today so you can revisit these where you feel tight. Go back to them after class. Come back up off the foam roller. Turn sideways and place the foam roller now underneath your hip, coming down onto your elbow on the other side of the foam roller. Bend your knees and use your legs as you need to. There's different places on the hip. We're going to start with the hip flexor. So turn your tummy a little more into the foam roller and then push forward and back. So a hip flexor, I'll show you on my top leg. It's kind of where the hip bone, hip socket connect into the top of the thigh, and it gets really tight. That's what you're aiming for. Now turn your body so you're more up and down, shoulder over shoulder, so you're rolling out the hip. This is another place for me that I get super tight. If you feel a tight spot, hold on it. Maybe roll back and forth. So we're rocking, we're rolling, we're stretching today. Now aim a little more chest up and roll up and down more of the glutes where the piriformis muscle is, that really deep one that sometimes can pinch the sciatic or give you a little zinger. That's where I get really dehydrated. Okay, now hold. And as you come off of this, take it a little lower to the IT band. So the IT band is the side of the thigh. Runners and cyclists, this gets really tight. Turn at different angles. And if you find a really sticky spot, hold it and maybe roll it up and down. You might find if you turn inward, it's tighter. When you feel that sometimes painful sensation, that's dehydrated tissue, that's sticky tissue. Good. Now hold and take it out from underneath. Before we do the other side, turn the foam roller like it's a pillow and rest that free leg on it. This is rolling out the inner thigh or the adductor, groin, whatever might be tight through there. You can go lower if you like. Almost feeling like you're on your tummy as you roll out and in. And then hold, and let's transition to the other side. Starting with the hip, place it under the hip, drop the elbow on the other side. Position your legs so that they will support and help you. Turn a little more inward, a little more tummy down, and roll out the hip flexor. Turn a little more sideways and roll out the side of the hip or the gluteus medius. Sometimes bending knees and pushing through the feet help. And then roll a little more back into the piriformis, so your chest is a little more open. And rock side to side if you find a spot that feels sticky. And then hold. Release it and put it on the IT band, a little lower on the thigh, the side of the thigh. If you turn inward, you might notice that that is a little bit sticky there or tight. Find a sticky spot, hold it for a second. Remember, you can revisit some of these after class if you need a little more time. And release. Take the foam roller and turn it like a pillow that you can rest that knee on. And come down onto your elbows and roll out the inner thigh, adductor, groin, places that might feel tight through there. Depending on what we do throughout our week, this is a great class to end your week with. And release, sitting up tall. Take the legs now as you sit up with the right foot in front of the left, cross-legged. Foam roller in front, rolling forward and dropping the head. Again, at your own timing, just roll up, lift the head, roll forward, drop the head. You will definitely feel that more on the right side because the right leg is in front. And then as you finish that up, bring it back in and take the foam roller to the right side. Turn it into the tall position and reach over. Drop that right elbow in between you and the foam roller so you get a nice good stretch here. And you can actually go all the way down if you like. Different angles reach to a forward diagonal. Now this next one, I like the foam roller a little higher, but this arm that's in the diagonal now comes across to the foam roller. So you're rotating into a twist with the other hand behind, your right hand behind. Push the foam roller out on an angle. Find what feels good to your stretch. Now even deeper, the free arm, the back arm comes under on the thigh, palm up, and you're looking underneath your arm and pushing that foam roller out. Come back through the middle and take your left foot now in front of the right, rolling the foam roller forward and dropping the head down between the two arms. Roll up, lifting the head and roll back through on your own timing. And then lift up and take the foam roller out to the side. Again, it can be high or low. I'm going to start with my low. Keeping the left leg in front, reach over into your side bend. Dropping that elbow between you and the foam roller, and then reaching to a forward diagonal as we begin this twisting. Now this next twist is pretty intense. I'm going to take my foam roller a little higher, bring this arm that's in front of you onto the foam roller, the left arm behind you helping you rotate. And then take the back arm underneath on your thigh with the palm up. Turn your head and look underneath your top arm. You can even push that foam roller out a little bit. And come back in. Good. Take the foam roller and sit on top of it. So it's going to come right underneath your glutes as you sit on it. Bring the soles of your feet together in a cobbler's pose and let your knees open. With the elevation of your hips, it's going to allow your knees to open even more and give you a little more range of motion through our hips, which can get really, really tight. Now rock side to side, feeling again that motion, and it will massage out the fascia in your hips, your glutes. Now hold still from here. Readjust and take your hands behind your back. As you carefully lean back, open up your chest. Roll the pelvis under into a little C curve and then push the ribs out. And roll under and push out. Sit back up tall. Carefully now start to bring the hands more forward and push the pelvis back as you let your head release and drop between the arms. Roll the foam roller forward and then roll it back again and see if you can deepen that stretch. This is beautiful for the low back. Ooh, that's a good stretch for the low back, which again carries a lot of tension. Come back up and then bring your knees up. Turn now so that the foam roller is a little more underneath your right glute. Drop your left knee down and push forward through your pelvis. So I'm getting a little hip flexor stretch right here through the left leg, and then I'm rolling back and forward underneath the glute of my right leg. You might find some little singers in there. I did. Rock and roll, and then come up to the other side. So as you shift the weight so that the foam roller is right underneath your left glute, drop your right leg, push the pelvis forward, and just rock back and forth, and roll out the tissue underneath that left glute. Come back to the middle. That felt really good. Cross the right foot over the left thigh in that 4 position. This is another place that can be super tight. You can use your hands to help you. You can put your hands behind you. That's where I like to place my hands. And let the right knee open. And then roll up and down underneath the right glute. So shift a little more into that right side. Again, there's some good tight spots. If you find a sticky spot, maybe roll it or rock it. Ooh, I could stay there all day long. There's lots of stuff going on in that hip. Switch sides. Let the left knee drop and then rotate a little more into the left hip. Roll up and down the left hip. Now if this is too painful on the arms, you can always readjust your hands, sit up a little taller, put your hands on your legs. I like to really lean and give a lot of weight into that hip. If you find a sticky spot, rock and roll, whatever feels good to give some mobility to the hip tissue. And then sit back up. Come into that same position, reposition on the foam roller, open the knees. Take the elbows, place them inside the inner thighs, palms together, and then press the elbows against the legs to open up the hip sockets, the groin, the adductors. Release for a second, and then go for a bigger stretch, a bigger range of motion leaning forward. And come back up. Lengthen the legs a little bit more, still a little bit of a bend in your knees. Bring your hands forward, and now shift the hips back so you're lengthening into a straddle stretch that's supported up with the foam roller. Roll forward, bend your knees, and then go for a deeper one and reposition into that straddle stretch. As you come up, bring your legs together. Take the hand across, the left hand across the right, bring your right hand behind you. Reach up, and then roll back and forward. Lean back, find a spot that feels good as you lean into that back arm. And switch over to the other side. Get the rotation, lean back into the left arm, reach that right arm back up. Roll into a spot. Ooh, I can feel that under the left hip. A nice lift through the torso, a nice rotation through the spine. Again, all of our bodies are so different. Respect what your body needs out of this stretch. And release to center, good. Take the foam roller behind you, seated on the floor with your legs extended forward now. If you have injuries in shoulders or tightness in shoulders, you will have to be really careful with this one. Fingertips face the hips, hands on top of the roller. So like this. Just lean back a little. Put some pressure into the hands and open the chest and the head, but never releasing completely back with the head. Just give the stretch you need out of that right now. And release. Now take the foam roller on the top of your legs and roll it clear to the ends to wherever you feel like you can go. If you can go all the way to your feet, put some pressure and stretch the arches of your feet. Now you've got the stretch in your back, you've got your stretch in the hamstrings. Release the head, roll the foam roller down to the feet, and really stretch the arches of your feet, which will also give you some stretch in the back of the calf. Roll back up. Open now into your straddle stretch. With the foam roller now in front of you, roll forward. Drop the head. Roll up and lift the head. And roll forward again and drop the head. Roll up. Good. And just roll those shoulders up and back. Bring the legs together. Place the foam roller underneath the right calf muscle. We neglect our calves a lot and they take on a lot of tension. With the other knee, the left knee bent, hands behind the back, elevate the hips a little, and then roll up and down the calf. So at first you might not even notice anything. So then hold it still and turn the foot outward and roll. Now hold still, turn the foot inward and roll. Now just find a spot, toes out, toes in, circle the foot, reverse the circle. Find a higher spot, circle. Ooh, that's where I feel the calf, when I circle around. Find one more spot, circle the foot, reverse the circle. Change legs. Start by rolling it up and down the calf muscle. Hips elevated so that you have some motion. And then find a spot and rotate outward, inward. Now circle. Reverse it. Find a little higher spot. Circle. Circle. higher spot, one more spot. Just focus on a spot. And again, if you find you have a really tight spot, go back to it after class. Now take both legs on top, push the floor away so your shoulders are long, and just roll up and down your calves. Cross your right foot over your left, giving it a little more weight. You're going to really feel that. And then switch and cross. And if this is too much for your shoulders, just take this move out. And come back with the hips down. Take the foam roller under the hamstrings, so the back of the thigh. Bend whichever leg you're not using and lift your hips. And then roll up and down the back of your thigh. Find a spot on your hamstring and then rock side to side. Find a different spot. So you kind of combine the rocking and the rolling up and down the leg and the side to side. And switch sides. Again, hamstrings can get super tight depending on what you've done throughout your week. Roll back and forth. Turn your foot out, turn your foot in. Rock side to side with it. Roll forward and back with it. Combine the two. And then finish. Nice job. Okay, next move, we'll roll out the tricep. Put it onto the side of you, bend your knees, and as you roll out, turn your palm up, roll gently down until it's underneath your tricep, being supported by the other hand in front of you. Roll up and down on your tricep muscle. And once you find a spot that's tight, bend the elbow. If you find a different spot that's tight, bend the elbow. Roll it around. I tend to find I'm tighter next to the elbow than next to the shoulder. So find those sticky hot spots. Now before we do the other side, tricep, the next place is the lats. So this big muscle underneath the armpit, I carry a lot of knots in my lats. So I like to spend a lot of time here. I won't today, but once you get that right underneath the armpit, lift the hips, move the leg, bend your knees, whatever you need to do to roll. Change this underarm to different angles. And if you find a spot that feels a little tender, stop, put both hands behind the head, and rock backwards and forward. Now keep the hands behind the head and roll back and forth on the lats. Find a new spot. Open the elbow, the upper elbow, and roll up on that spot. I can feel a really good knot there. And you become your own massage therapist this way. And drop the hip and lift up. Change to the other side. You are doing what your massage therapist does for you. You're rolling out the toxins in your tissue. Tricep, palm up, roll down, find the back of that arm, and roll back and forth on it. Now once you find a spot that's tight, bend your elbow, push down into the foam roller and release. Find another spot, bend, push down, and then release. And then find another spot, bend and release. Good. Let's go into the lats. This is another place I'd like to spend all day. So to start, let's go ahead and put our hands behind the head just so they're out of the way, or you can change angles. Roll up and down that area right underneath your armpit. You can use your legs any way you'd like. If you need your upper hand, you can use that also. Once you find a spot that's tight, then put your hands behind your head. Open the chest. Roll up backwards and forwards on that tight hot spot. And maybe find a different spot. Roll, open, play with it. Good. And then let's move on. Ooh, that's a good spot right there. Sit up, placing the foam roller vertically down your spine. So you're going to want to place it so that your head isn't falling off the back. I have a short foam roller. Long ones are great. The short one, you have to just be careful how you place your head. So place your head so that it's resting right at the nape of your neck, so it's not falling back off of the foam roller. Once you've got that there, lift and elevate the hips in a bridge and place your hands at the side of the body. Reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Let them fall back behind you. If you can touch the floor, go for it. If the shoulders are too tight, just go where you can. Open out to the side. Reach back up over the head and bring the hands forward. So this is a really good posture stretch to open the shoulders and the chest. Bring them over your head. See if you can touch the floor. Open out to the side. Come back over the head and then reach forward. Transition the hands behind the back of your head. Open your elbows. Just let the weight of the elbows open your chest. Good. Lower the hips and lift yourself back up to seated. Now take the foam roller and turn it now so that it can rest underneath your low back. So your hips will be elevated, knees bent, feet to floor. The foam roller is giving support to my low back. Place your hands just to the side. They can be open, whatever feels good to you, and lift your knees up into your chest. Just roll the feet backwards and forwards. You can even touch the floor. You'll get a little abdominal work. And feel the pressure of the foam roller underneath the back. Now take the feet all the way up and just hang. You'll hear oftentimes people are on those boards that are upside down. They hang from that are good for your back. You can bend your knees, roll your hips, roll your ankles. Just that inverted position, so good to get your legs up. Let your knees fall open and feel the stretch through the inner thigh, rocking side to side. Bend the knees a little and grab hold of the big toes. They call this the happy baby stretch, and give a little more pressure to the opening of the hip sockets. Lengthen one leg, keep the other knee a little more bent, and then switch to the other side. Bring the knees back together, open the chest, lengthen one leg down, and with the opposite leg, roll it across the body. And if you'd like a little more out of that stretch, lengthen that top leg. Bring the knees back into the chest. Roll over to the other side so the bottom leg touches the floor. The top leg rolls right over that SI joint into that hip. And you can extend the leg longer if you'd like a little more weight or stretch. Pay attention to underneath where the foam roller is. That SI joint can be another tight place in the back where it connects the hip. And come back to the middle. Cross one foot over the opposite thigh and bring that knee towards the chest. Extend the leg a little higher, roll the ankle. Reverse the ankle circle and bend the knee, switching legs. Hold the knee towards the chest. Ooh, that's a good one right there too. And then extend higher. And circle the ankle. And reverse the circle. So many great stretches. Again, you can take each little section, pause it for a while, enjoy. Bend your knees, uncross the legs, rock yourself up. Sit down and transition now the foam roller underneath your shoulder blades. So they're right across the back of your shoulders, feet to floor, knees bent. Take the hands right now to support the head. Lean back. You can elevate your hips or you can leave them down, but lean back without releasing the head completely. Support it. And then rock to one shoulder blade and then over to the other. So you're actually lifting one off and pushing down with the other, giving some pressure into, again, that place where you could have some knots. Shoulder blades, common area to keep the knots. Come back to the middle. Release the head just enough so you feel the stretch now in your psoas, meaning that muscle that's deep in the abdominals. Push the ribs up. And then neutralize again, bend your knees. Head is neutral. Keep one hand behind the head, reach the other arm along. Like you're climbing a rope, switch sides. Climb the rope and switch. Good. Climb the rope and switch. Support the back of the neck, reach both arms up. Let it fall just enough. and roll yourself back up. You may need to grab a leg to bring you up. Last section. Bring the roller right underneath the low back, and it may roll a little. You may have to reposition it, but as you rest it right kind of up against that low back, lean back. Take your hands underneath your thighs, C-curve your pelvis under, and drop the head. Take the hands behind the back, open the chest, and the foam roller may roll a little bit more to the middle part of the back. That's okay, play with it. Reposition it where it feels good. Come back up through the middle here, and as you take it into your low back, reach forward. Now, like a bow and arrow, pull to one side. Pull to the other side. Pull again, so you're rotating. You're going to get a little abdominal work here, but you're also going to get some massage through the back. And one more time. Now take both elbows and just open. Keep the chin a little more forward. Feel those abdominals support the back. And lift. And breathe. And lift. Hold. Let the foam roller roll a little more to the middle of the back, a little less to the low back, and lift one foot. Lift the other foot. Squeeze your knees together. Engage the abdominals, keep your chin over your sternum, open the arms. Extend the legs high. Reach and grab hold of the back of the legs, open the chest. Reach the arms towards your legs, big finish. Bend your knees, rock yourself back up. Drop the head one more time to round. Open the chest one more time to lift. Push yourself up to seated. And that completes our rocking, rolling, and stretching with the foam roller. Remember, you've got lots of tissues in there that need to have a lot of attention. So don't just work, work, work. Also do some self-care and take care of your body. It will last so much longer. Check out Fitness with Jenn Allen for lots of other great workouts. Go back to this one often. Get yourself a nice good foam roller and then take on those stretches or little sections of the class, especially if you have some really good hot spots or dehydrated tissues. Have a great day today. Again, join me again soon. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.